Hey, what's up? It's Shady C here again. Again, you can check me out on Wrestling Plus One. That's at Blog Talk Radio. Type in wrestling, the word plus, and the number one. Somebody just sent me a private message and asked me an interesting question. They said, what's the difference between a wrestling fan and a WWE fan? And I said, okay, I'll do a video about that. That's an interesting question. The difference is this. WWE fans, it's pretty obvious. I don't even know why I got the question, but I'll humor. WWE fans will only watch WWE. Everything else sucks, but WWE is awesome. Another example, Hulk Hogan. When he signed to work with TNA, it was like, oh, he's old, he's broken down, he's decrepit. Man, I'll tell you what, oh, that Hulk Hogan, man, he's a has-been. And then as soon as he signed with WWE, what did the fanboys say? Hulk Hogan came back home. Hulk Hogan is home. He's home now. Like he was a child who ran away. He's home now. That's a fanboy. Someone who someone goes to another company and they're a piece of shit. They come back to WWE and they're the greatest thing since sliced bread again. That's a fanboy. A wrestling fan is what I am. It's what I've always been. Growing up in the 90s, I would watch anything I could get my hands on that was wrestling. The only products that we could get, the only ones we got 4 wrestling shows. We got an independent one called, what was it? It was GWF, Global Wrestling Federation. And in fact, that's where Booker T and Stevie Ray started out at. They used to have the Patriot. They had a guy named the Dark Patriot there. It was a good show. It was wrestling. And then WCW. In the early 90s, they had Vader, Flair, Ron Simmons, Sting. My 2 favorites were always on in the early days of WCW were Ron Simmons and Sting. I also liked a guy named Heavy Metal Van Hammer. Not Raven's Flock Van Hammer, but the rocker. Same guy, different gimmick, but I liked him. He was cool. So yeah, and in WWE in the early 90s, WWE was pretty dry in the 90s. That was like, Doink was more like 94, 95. I would say in the early 90s, I was a Hulk Hogan fan. I was a Macho Man Randy Savage fan. Even though Mr. Perfect was a heel in the early 90s, I still liked him. There was something about him. He was the complete package. If anyone to this day asks me who my favorite all-time wrestler is, Curt Hennig is always at the top of the list. Because he was able to wrestle well. He was a very good wrestler. And he was good on the mic. And he had charisma. And he had that cocky, confident, arrogant attitude. So yeah, that was my extent of wrestling growing up. Oh, and ECW, but ECW didn't really come into our area until like 94, 95. But anyways, point being is a true wrestling fan watches everything. Anything wrestling they can get their hands on. It's almost like the Tasmanian devil. How it would spin around and absorb everything and destroy blah, 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 blah. That's a wrestling fan. A WWE fanboy is somebody that only will watch their precious WWE. Even right now, and let's be honest, even some of you fanboys will admit this, the WWE is shit. The WWE is shit. No, they're worse than shit. They fucking suck. I'm sorry, but my idea of entertainment, wrestling-wise, is not watching a bull and an alligator fight. It might be entertaining if they were real, but, you know, it was just the little guys. But, no, not entertaining at all. Not one bit. When The Rock came out, that was the only entertaining part of that one show. And all it did was show how bad the rest of the show is and was. My favorite quote from the Solo Monster, he put out a tweet, and he said, it seemed like half the show left with The Rock, or half the audience left with The Rock. And that to me was, it really hit me, because I was like, wow, yeah, that's pretty fucking true. But yeah, I want to again promote Wrestling Plus One. I want everyone to listen to it. It's literally the greatest show because we cover everything. There's nothing, if you watch or if you listen to the show, anything you like gets covered. You can find that again on Blog Talk Radio. We do a 45-minute show. Some of the early ones were longer And I think we're going to end up going back to the longer format in the future. It's with me and Buck. Buck's great. Buck's been a long-time wrestling fan. He knows a lot about wrestling. He's like me. You know, he'll absorb anything wrestling. And of course, we insult the product, but we do it in a way towards fair. We'll insult TNA when they suck. We'll insult WWE when they suck, and we'll praise them both when they're doing great. That's a wrestling fan. Now, you have to ask yourself one question out there, people. Ask yourself this. Are you a wrestling fan? Are you a WWE fanboy? Which are you? If all you watch is WWE and everything else is shit in your eyes, you're a fanboy. If you give everything an equal chance and an opportunity to succeed, congratulations, you're a wrestling fan.